Real TWC presents Crew Talk, where we discuss the latest and greatest in the wrestling world with a little bit of sippage on the side, ideally. But if you don't drink, that's fine too. But tonight, I think we're going to drink.
I guess it's fine.
Obviously, just JB, fellow crewmate Carlton in the building. And we're hoping that, Sharif is going to join later. Show must go on. We have two amazing guests tonight. Jay, the gentleman of Wooderice, who has been here with us before, and Buster from Bex and Buster of Q102. So happy to have y'all on. As Cody Rhodes would say, so what do y'all want to talk about?
Yo, hey, I got the blur my background on. And blurring the title, like when Flair brought the WCW title to WWF back in the 90s. It's blurring it. I love it.
Oh, man.
Word.
It'll be up for sure.
Just like Ella Knight would say, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
But no, we'll get straight to it. Buster, tell me what got you into pro wrestling, and tell everybody, actually, I take that back. Tell everybody what you do and how you got into pro wrestling. Buster, you go first, and after Buster, Jay.
So what I do is I'm the program director of Q102. I program all the music. It's a top 40 radio station in Philadelphia. And I program the content, and basically I kind of run with the team that we got there to provide the best content that spotlights and sort of entertains Philadelphia. And I also host the afternoon show with my homegirl Bex. My boy Jay over at Wooderice is in there every Friday with us and delivering the scoop. But we try to make sure that the market is both on the air and entertained by what's on the air. So that's what's going on with what I do. How I got into pro wrestling was pretty much from the jump. I think my uncle and my family, they were kind of into it, but that was during the golden era. That was during Hogan and Macho Man with Miss Elizabeth and all of that. So I think that kind of got me into it. I was a Hogan fan, then I was a Warrior fan, then I was a Shawn Michaels fan. I'm still a Shawn Michaels fan. Yeah, and and then I'm still here today in all of it. And then I do a lot of shit with those guys too, I was down in Tampa for a while and I got pretty tight with some of the crew down there. Shout out to my boy Joey Ding Ding. He's kind of the man and that is one of my closest friends in the game over there. And I think they've got a good family over there. They run their shit tight, and I just like working with them on a promo side, being a part of their shit. So that's the deal.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's love. That's so cool. Jay, we've been here before. Now we're here again. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, no, Jay the gentleman from Wooderice here in Philly, media company. And we've been around, it'll be 10 years next year for Wooderice. And thanks. And actually, I think it's been almost to this day, a year since I was on last year.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
It was around late August.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies.
Woo! Time flies, man. But how I got into pro wrestling as a kid, I would, my grandpa, he loved it. And, I grew up in Texas, so it was just everything. And watching AAA to the Sunday after church, they had the show on USA for a while, and we watched Raw, of course, back then when it premiered. Never really got the pay-per-views because we couldn't afford it, but we had the squiggy lines.
Scribble screen. Yep, that's all I did too.
On the box. I heard it perfectly. I just couldn't see.
And sometimes it would line up.
Yeah, you're like, oh, there's Hogan. I love it. I would say I'm not gonna lie, I fell off for a while in the 2010s because I was traveling a lot and I couldn't really catch it, but I started getting back into it 4 years ago.
Bro, I think all of us had that little clip of life where we, you started going out there in the world, you started getting laid, you started
yeah, I mean, it was college. I worked, I was traveling for work, and it was just a bunch of stuff, so I missed it. And then I don't know, one day I saw that it was on. I had live TV, and I was like, let me see what's going on in the world of wrestling, and then it was hooked again.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
Buster, what you said, like how everybody had that has that little blip where they don't watch. It's funny, Jay, you said college. For me, actually, yeah, it was college. It was like the sophomore, like summer of my sophomore year, summer of my sophomore year. I had that little period, and then like DX reformed, and I was right back in. That's what it took for me. But I did have like a 9-month, probably like a 6, 8, 9 month lull, and then boom.
I'll tell you the window. My window that I dipped right about the time Edge became the man.
Okay.
When he was kind of coming up, being about to be the man and take the throne from Triple H for a second, I was out there, and I came back about the time that Shawn Michaels was retiring.
Okay. So that's like 2010-ish. I got you.
Yeah.
2009, 10-ish for sure.
That was an interesting time because it was all those legends were starting to retire a little bit, and then the new crop was coming in, so it's kind of like a transitional period for the company, for WWE, that is. So
yeah,
I liked CM Punk. I liked CM Punk at that time. I thought he was cool. He was kind of he was a throwback to that Attitude Era, all that bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. You remember the Straight Edge Society? I actually thought that was cool at the time.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I mean, he was a good heel. I hated him, but he was good. I thought it was a good deal.
Yeah, for sure. Carlton, did you ever have a blip in your pro wrestling watching?
I wouldn't say, not necessarily. Again, when you already noticed, JB, when I got into it, I was real young. So my biggest match, again, Buster, same thing. Shawn Michaels, when it was Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood, when Kane came out, the whole Hell in a Cell, that's what kind of got me into it the most, because I was like, what the hell is going on here? Undertaker's face was insane. And if you followed The Undertaker back then, he never shows any type of emotion until I remember, that's when he actually showed, some type of emotion. And I'm like, what is going on? And Shawn Michaels, the GOAT, still won it. And I'm like, how do you still win that match?
It's crazy. You mentioned something right there, Carlton. I think, honestly, when Taker faced Kane and had that, look, had, that scared look, I think that was the first time you actually saw Taker show any emotion at all in terms of being feared at all, in terms of being scared. It pretty crazy moment. So I can definitely see why that'd be in your head for sure.
Yeah. That's always going to be the number one, for me, there's been a lot of big matches, but what got me into wrestling is there's 17 different things that happened in 2 minutes for that one moment, which is Undertaker showing emotion, Kane coming out of nowhere. The storyline was good, but then you rip off a cage, and as a kid, you're like, how is he that strong to rip off the daggone door? And then after he tombstone the Undertaker and all this other stuff happened, Shawn Michaels still came back, won the match, and I'm like, all right, great. So Shawn Michaels against Bret Hart again, whatever. But still, it's crazy.
For sure. So yeah, I guess while we're at it, so Carlton, you stated your favorite, although you do love John Cena. We won't. That's a whole another topic. We'll get into that later. Whatever, but about
John Cena's the man.
we always drag on Carlton about it.
I was gonna say, Buster, I almost put on the table. If food wasn't on the table, I was gonna stand on the table at the watch party with John Cena. But I calmed down. I didn't go crazy.
We all went buck wild when the you didn't know? Yeah, everybody lost their mind. And then when the Shane O'Mac, here comes the money. I remember the place erupted. That was good.
Yeah, that was quite a night. That was super fun. Buster, who's your favorite again? If you didn't mention your favorite wrestler? HBK. Got it. So we're aligned with that. We're aligned with HBK. Jay, I know your favorite is Bret Hart.
Yeah.
I love Bret Hart too, and I got to be honest, the era that I hate of Shawn Michaels is when he came back and he was all Jesus stuff.
Oh man.
You don't like Jesus? You don't like Jesus?
Whoa.
You like that shit?
Whoa.
Shawn
Starting with
I like problematic dickhead Shawn Michaels.
You like coked out HBK. I got you. That's arguably what
Yeah,
he
I
was
like
at his best. I know it is
Pilled
true.
out,
It's
coked
at his
out
best.
HBK while he was banging Sonny. Like that was the best Shawn. Shawn from when he put Jannetty through the window.
Yeah.
Through the
Mania 14.
breaking his back. That was peak Shawn. When he came back with you know what I hated more than anything was that his gear changed, because my favorite shit about
pants.
Shawn.
Oh man, you're dropped. This is, man, are we
Bro.
we're like, wait, let me see. We're like 6 minutes in, man. Damn.
Let's go. Bro,
Bray, I love it.
I see Jay agreeing. I know you're bobbing your head because
those 5-leg pants, I hate it. I hate it when Rey Mysterio wore them. I hate it when he wore them. I did not like them.
Shit was ass.
So trash.
All right, fellas. I will say this as a monster HBK fan. I will say this. Everyone wants to talk about his 2002 to 2010 run. There's a lot of people, probably younger fans, that feel like that's better than his first. I'm actually of the opinion that his first run was better too.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's because of growing up with it, but like DX, the ladder match, Jannetty, Hell in a Cell, the Iron Man match, like just the rematch against Razor Ramon at SummerSlam 1995, like just classic after classic. Him getting 3 to 5 star matches out of big men. Like he carried Psycho Sid to a good match. Like no offense to Psycho Sid, but let's be honest here. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? Vader. Like good friends, better enemies.
Vader was good though. Vader twisted. Vader was good.
No. I'm saying he had great matches. Like the Vader match was great. Like Vader was a great all-time big man. Kevin Nash, Diesel, great. Like I thought HBK was already GOAT status before he left in '98. But I guess it was cool to see the second half, like the second leg of his career.
Bro, you know what it is? It's like this. Legends sometimes, if especially like in the wrestling industry, if they stay alive and they come back and they stay in the industry sometimes too long, they see their legacy tarnished. It's like if Eminem would have died after his third album, he'd be the greatest of all time.
Oh man, bringing music into this.
Saying?
If Eminem would have passed away at you said after Eminem's show, right? We talking about his major releases.
Everybody would all agree that it was Tupac, Biggie, and Eminem.
Yeah, I hear you. I can see that.
The 5 or 6 albums after that make it all up for debate. So when Shawn Michaels came back after the back end injury, it was like,
oh man,
I don't want Nickelodeon DX. I don't want balding Shawn Michaels with the chaps. Jesus. I don't want none of that.
Well, like, all right, so I will counter this. Like his feud his matches with Undertaker were dope. His the one with Jericho was dope. Like
Jericho
was
Angle,
Triple H.
At SummerSlam 2002.
Like his whole persona was kind of trash, but like his matches were still like fuck.
Well, that's the reason why you got to give Shawn Michaels a lot of credit, because if you think about it, like everybody knew who Shawn Michaels was. He was a showstopper. He was the main event. He did a lot of stuff. He carried so many people, but for him to come back and still, I mean, the character wasn't the best, but he still had top-notch matches, and he still made sure he carried the people. Hell, he carried John Cena in WrestleMania. I would even get that. Like he did a lot of great things, even when he did. So he still had the ring prowess. That makes him like one of the best in the world, because he still, even at that time, carried a lot of people, you know, in all of his matches. Yeah, for sure. Right. So I think we can all, I think for the most part, I'm just going to surmise that, character with the whole, I was doing this earlier, he's doing all that stuff. The
Shawn Michaels.
But he's, maybe questionable, but his ring work was better than ever. Although I want to say one thing, when HBK turned heel in 2005 for that 1 month against Hulk Hogan, that was pretty entertaining, because a little bit of that, was kind of a throwback to that 1997 HBK. I'm just saying that was funny. I thought
problematic dickhead.
That because like you know how I feel about Hogan. I'm just like But he did that shit was hilarious. I loved it. I
Like
loved
him flopping around in that match to make
Yeah.
Hogan look like an idiot. That was
Loved it. Yeah, loved it.
So, oh my gosh. Well, we're talking about some, one of the greatest superstars to ever grace the ring. And talking about our love of pro wrestling. Well, this past week, actually, I want to get into this. We actually had but maybe one of the toughest weeks in recent memory of for us pro wrestling fans and the industry as a whole, with the passing of Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. So I just wanted to have some time with everybody to discuss these two icons, these two legends that passed away. And first of all, I just wanted to ask, have a little round table. What's everyone's favorite Bray Wyatt moments? Jay, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, so I unfortunately, that gap that I had, I missed a lot of like the good stuff, like the Eater of the Worlds and all that stuff. I kind of caught on the beginning of the Fiend. I think that's when I started. But then from there, I asked one of my best friends in Florida. He never had he's been watching it forever, and he was like, "Yo, you got to go back to NXT and kind of work your way up." And I did. I saw some matches on YouTube or whatever, and I was just like, his mind for just creativity. For me, it's like when you and it's like a when people say in wrestling, like when you don't make if no one either cheers or boos, if there's no reaction, then you're not doing it. Like he had a little bit of everything, and it was still like, what is he gonna do next, or how does he like? For me, I just love the creativity in his mind for vignettes and the Fire Fun House and all the stuff in the swamp and like kind of like that down south cult leader vibe, that almost like Cape Fear, that's like a Cape like it was just so different. And for me in pro wrestling, anytime you can have something that works and it's different and people can catch on to it, whether you're a baby face or a heel, I mean, it's one of those things that like you can't teach that, man. You either have it or you don't. And you could tell from those tributes that he was dope in the locker room. He was willing to help out other superstars. Just an overall good guy. It just seemed like it. I never met him, but you could just tell. Like it was like everyone's reactions was very genuine. But as far as favorite moments, I really love the fun house, like the vignettes. Like so twisted and it's like, but it's so charming at the same time. And like and just the little nuances in the background of like all the people he defeated and like the different puppets and like, I don't know, man. I thought it was just brilliant. I was like, this dude is on another like who else in the world could pull that off?
Right.
No,
for sure. Just an amazing creative talent. Buster, what do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like the attention to detail and the long ball that he would play in his storytelling was so cool to, when everybody, you'd see one of his Firefly features, on Raw, and then everybody would jump to Twitter and be like, oh my God, did you see this? Did you see that? Little Easter eggs and whatever. First time I ever saw him was in the NXT run. That I was in by then. And again, when I was living down in Tampa, I got to like check out. They call it something like the Coconut Circle or something. But basically, they have these. You know what I'm talking about? Where they have these like it's NXT, but it's also like indie NXT, where it's really bare bones, but it's WWE sanctioned. It's real deal event, but it is indie feel as ever. But
like,
with legit,
is it like a black match? Like, was it like dark match? It's like a dark match.
Oh, it's all dark matches, the whole thing, and it's WWE staff working on their craft. It's the whole thing.
Awesome.
So like, yeah,
that's cool.
And it's really cool, and they do it in markets inside Tampa. By the way, you guys have to excuse me because I am straight up as we are talking. Started at 9:15. I'm in a fantasy draft right now.
Oh. Believe me.
I grabbed. By the way, I was first round pick. I grabbed Christian McCaffrey. That was my first.
Okay.
Pick.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a good first pick. God. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I got to see early Bray doing that like Waylon Jennings shit or Waylon Mercy shit.
Mercy. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, this took me back
that
to when I
was
was a
dope. That
He
was
was-
dope.
That's a throwback, man. Waylon Mercy was a creepy son of you know what, good call.
Yeah, and so I loved those like that whole like the birth of Wyatt family right there. I thought that was cool. Early WWE shit when they were on the main roster. I got to see some of that ringside in Philly. So I was there ringside during when Bray Wyatt and Undertaker sniped LA Knight, and then Undertaker whispered into his ear. I was there.
Yeah,
ringside.
we were there too. We were just higher up.
Yeah, we were higher up, but ringside, that's crazy.
Yeah, pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, as Jay said, we were all there too. That was quite a night. Raw 30. Damn. Yeah, that's one. Wow, I just realized that's one of Bray Wyatt's like last. That's crazy. We saw Bray Wyatt's last like true big moments.
So
wow.
to not to one up, but I was at Royal Rumble for his last match.
Come on,
man. Yeah, against LA Knight. Wow.
Yeah, the glow in the dark, whatever that was called, that match. Yeah, that was his last one.
The Mountain Dew joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's.
By the way, shout out to LA Knight, bro.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, we'll talk about LA Knight a little later. Trust me on that. LA Knight, yeah. We've been talking about LA. Oh, I said yeah, like again. But yeah, no, but LA Knight's definitely taken the wrestling world by storm. And
I'll tell you what, I knew about that boy in NWA Power right before the pandemic, 2019, early 2020. Eli Drake, right? Wasn't that his joint? And I remember being like, I got it. I fuck with that guy. And who knew, like, he was deep behind the scenes WWE that entire time, like working his way. Like, man, you gotta admire somebody that's worked his way through it and trusted the process. I hate to use the term right now because
oh, believe me, we feel the pain there. So yeah.
So
No, but it's great. In terms of LA Knight and how he fits with Bray Wyatt, he had that promo on SmackDown for SmackDown as Bray, and he kind of stayed. I thought it was cool that he kind of like stayed in character and said like they didn't see eye to eye, but he helped make him into a better performer. I thought that was really cool for him to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So mad props. We'll definitely get more into LA Knight and his feud with The Miz a little bit later. Carlton, do you have anything to add about Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, well, the only thing I can say is, first and foremost, rest in peace to Wyndham and, his family. As a family man, I got kids. I can only imagine what, JoJo's going through.
Yeah, rest in peace. Condolences.
Prayers and condolences to the family, of course. But the reason why I grabbed this belt specifically is that my favorite moment was when he actually won the title for the first time. I thought he deserved it at the time, even though they took the strap off of him real quick. It was a great moment because to me, I thought he deserved it. If WWE did it right, Taker should have passed the torch to him in the first place. But even though that didn't happen, and it looks like it was going to happen later on, when he won the title, for me, that was one of the biggest moments. I was happy for him because he worked so hard to get to that moment, coming in with the Wyatt family, and, rest in peace, Brody Lee, and then Luke Harper, like all them coming in together, like that was a great moment for him. And I thought when he won the title the first time, that was for them too, when he did it. So it was a great moment for him to win it. And then obviously the other moment for me was when Bray was on SmackDown, first time he's back. He grabbed the mic and he just opened up and he was himself, and he thanked everybody and saying if it wasn't for wrestling, he wouldn't know where he would be and everything else. So that was, obviously he was coming back, but that was another opening moment where I'm like, that moment's going to go down in history. Like 2 moments. I know, because storylines and everything else, I love, but when you work hard and you achieve something, that was one of his biggest achievements. Even for his family, with his, his brothers and everybody else, that title, him winning it the first time, was like a big achievement for his family in general. That they all worked hard for. So that was a big moment that I was happy to see him do.
Awesome. And to close off the Bray Wyatt moments, I think for me, I have a couple. The return to Philly at Extreme Rules. Actually, if people go into our Instagram account, you'll see that I went to investigate the White Rabbit. They had a White Rabbit out at the Wells Fargo Center, and it was just really cool, like seeing Bray's creativity like sprawl out and be the main thing for the entire event. And then when he actually shows up, showing the creepier like adult versions of the characters from the Funhouse, and the way the music was playing, I actually got chills. I actually got goosebumps. I'm not even messing around. I actually got chills. Like that return was probably one of the best returns that I can remember. I'm not even saying that out of hyperbole because he passed away or anything. I really genuinely am saying that. I think it's one of the best returns I've ever seen.
Well, I think that's a good point of like, all right, obviously we pay tribute to everything Wyndham Rotunda brought us with the Bray Wyatt character and everything.
Of course.
But if you were to like be real and keep it real, I remember lots of chatter about like name Bray Wyatt's best match. And no one really had an answer because, I felt like there was a lot of negativity around Bray, especially like towards the end of that Fiend character and whatever. But I think, look, I get it. And I hear you. It's not like we can applaud what we saw on pure athleticism or whatever, but how often are we doing that anyway?
Right.
And, what Bray Wyatt brought us was something so much more cool, man. Like that took all of us 30-something-year-olds to put us right back in our 5-year-old heads and said like, hey, this is that shit that made you go, oh my God, this is so cool. And like somebody that took today's technology and knowledge of the game and sort of reapplied it back to it and contributed to the game. And I think also like, again, it goes back to like, you take somebody at a point in their career and you clip it, it's easy to call them the greatest of all time. So now what'll happen is that Bray will be forever immortalized into this mystique of greatest. And go ahead, Jay.
No, I think you hit the head right, like the nail right on the head with the mystique word. Like I think that's what that was so appealing about it, was there was just like so much mystery, because all the characters that he created, it felt like it could be real. And I think that's why, like, as an adult, like when we grew up, they all had like all the wrestlers had occupations, and it was just like kind of like that. Actually, like there were backwater cult leaders. You know what I mean? Like they were
his
like
Wyatt family gimmick was creepy. That could be a real, that could actually happen.
It could be a real thing. So it's kind of like playing on people's like worst fears, or just like even like movies, shows like True Detective or whatever. Like all that stuff is like kind of felt like that could actually really happen. And hit him on the point of like using like multimedia, like even when he came back, having like the little 8-bit like bunny rabbit, like going to the X, and then like you said, having like all the different adult characters from like the puppets like in real, like it was just like no one else is doing that still. Like now it's like it's bizarre. So like his mind was, who knows what would it like who knows, like even
bro.
But you know what? But I think that's the issue with WWE right now, because don't get me wrong, like and I agree with Buster, but I feel like WWE held back his potential half the time, because I feel like,
and I was gonna get into that. Let's go.
Way farther with
Bray Wyatt's legacy.
It took him leaving and then re-signing to come back for them to actually start bringing that potential out, which they could have done that from jump, personally.
Correct.
Like, honestly, if they honestly did it right, I would have had Taker losing the streak to him. And then that's the torch you pass to the next Face of Fear. If they could have done it right, but I feel like they just didn't want to do it.
Preaching, bro. While you're at it, I just want to add, and that's a great segue, Carlton. I want to talk about a little bit of the legacy, and Buster, you kind of hinted on that, like, now that he's passed away, he's going to be this mystique. But I've heard some people who we know have said he's the most overrated wrestler he's ever seen in WWE history. I've heard that from people who have watched pro wrestling. I disagree with that, but I will say that I think that WWE, something that he has, his creativity and his mystique factor has enabled him to get over some awful booking decisions that WWE did. I'm going to name 3 that I feel would have killed anybody else, but he made sure he could rise above it because he's that good in terms of character development and in terms of promo. I believe he should have beat Cena at WrestleMania 30. Cena by then was already known as nothing could hurt him. He beat The Rock the year before. The torch was passed. Didn't matter. Wyatt had all the momentum. He had the tag match with the Shield, against the Shield and everything like that, against Evolution. People were with him. I think he should have won that match. Cena would have been fine. He can lose a match and still be John Cena. That's one. WrestleMania 31 against Taker. I know he was in a bad position because Taker lost the streak the year beforehand, but so I guess they could not have Taker lose two in a row, but I feel like Bray Wyatt had to win that match, as a true passing of the torch. I feel like that could have gone a different way, but I do understand at the same time, fine. The third one was when he was the Fiend. That Hell in a Cell match against Seth Rollins was all that hype with the Fiend. He had the merchandise sales. The fans were completely with him. It was he had the whole world was in his hands, literally. It was amazing. And then in a Hell in a Cell match, which is no holds barred anyway, they have to stop the match because Seth Rollins was about to bash his head in. Like the way that they booked that, it was just everyone. I remember everyone was like, do y'all remember when that happened? Like everyone was like, what the F? Like what the hell?
Yeah. There was a lot of controversy behind that.
A lot of controversy.
Seth got back to Gorilla and he was like, and he told Vince, he was like, that was a piece of shit. Like he didn't straight up, like he was like, this like we got to fix that. Like, yeah, I remember that's when I kind of came back, was around that time.
Yeah, for sure. And so for me, I think there's I'm sure there's some other ones, but for me, those are 3 major bad, 2 unquestionably bad booking decisions. One, I disagree with it, but I get it with Taker, and I think that Bray Wyatt was able to, really rise above all that stuff because of his ability, in terms of gimmick and everything like that. And I want to add one other thing. I applaud Bray Wyatt for getting past the what chant. No one really talks about that. When people do the what chant to some people during promos, they get flustered. I noticed immediately because I can't stand the what chant. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I can't. It needs to go away. Just keep it when Stone Cold's around. Okay, Carlton. Just keep it when Stone Cold's around. I get it when Stone Cold's around, but otherwise, sometimes it just kills promos. Bray Wyatt, I noticed he would just keep talking and stay strong in character the whole time, and eventually the crowd would just shut up because it wasn't going to affect him. So. Major props to that man's mic work too, and staying in character. So yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I think we're looking a little bit with rose-colored glasses. I get it, but I think forgive the corporate company man in me to be like, look, the company's got to make a decision
for sure,
and Bray Wyatt, while he's an amazing mind and an amazing personality and, a talented wrestler, there was a lot of trouble wrapped around there, at least from a point of who knew what was going on with his mental health at some point. So there was issues, and so if you're somebody who's in charge of putting the face of your company on and making the decision to make him the guy, I understand why sometimes there was pushback, especially because I bet you, not to speculate anything, but I bet you there was pushback within himself. I mean, he presents that sort of, person who might be even self-sabotaging or whatever. And so who knew what sort of the dialogue was with him and the decision makers of that company. So I think at times they had to make a decision both benefiting and not benefiting him. And I think, look, they put the strap on him a few times. It's not like he went without.
That's
Jake
true.
the Snake
That's
never
fair.
had
That's
the
fair, Buster.
motherfucking belt. Ted DiBiase never had the belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of guys who never had the belt. Well, yeah. But, you know, like, there's a lot of guys who never who were never the guy. And, you know,
They gave him the strap.
Vince,
You're right.
and Vince has seen and made all of them. And so when he saw somebody like him coming through, he's going, cool, I see the value in him, but like, am I putting the whole company on his back just because he's over so heavy? And sometimes those whose, you know, whatever burns bright doesn't burn as long. So like sometimes, you know, there's a little bit of that. So I can't necessarily sit back and be like, okay, hindsight 2020, we should have just everybody should have been all in on Bray all the time. I get why there was, you know, the stutter step. I get all that. Now, is that saying they did it right all the time? No, the Mountain Dew match was ass. The Randy Orton match with the snakes or whatever was ass. Should he have been the one to shut down Undertaker? Yes. Yes, it should have been the only one, and it should have been done after that, or it should have been Brock, and it should have been done after that. Whatever, it should have been done after that with Undertaker. There's a lot of decisions to be made, but, you know, I don't think it's so easy to look back and be like, oh, we should have known Bray was it the whole time.
Yeah, for sure. I hear that. And I think that those, you know, I think that point of view, you know, makes sense. I think the points were, you know, pretty spot on with that. But I think we can all agree that, you know, Bray Wyatt was just an amazing mind, a complex individual. Buster, as you kind of were hinting at, a complex guy, but, you know, beautifully complex. And the business needs more. The business needs more creativity, needs more minds of creativity spewing like a Bray Wyatt.
I agree with that. And you know what else is cool? We're gonna get whoever was 10 years old when Bray Wyatt was in NXT is probably now like 16, 17.
Yep.
And starting to, you know, if one kid, boy or girl, was influenced by what Bray Wyatt brought to the table from the jump and is just now starting to mess around with some indie league stuff or get into a training center or whatever, we might have him.
That's true. That's a great point, and that's you know, and in such a you know, sad situation, there's actually a little bit of light there that you mentioned, Buster. That's, you know, that's a good point. Bray's creativity and his you know, his what he's done will definitely live on with other generations. It was, you know, for better or worse, however you want to rank it is what it is, but, you know, his impact in terms of, you know, what he brought to character development and gimmick is definitely going to be, you know, seen in other generations. No question about it.
100%.
Yeah. So, also want to talk a little bit. I know that he wasn't really in, like, his heyday was, you know, before our generation, but I wanted to give some props and talk about Terry Funk, hardcore legend, one of the most, you know, celebrated hardcore wrestlers ever. I feel like a lot of wrestling fans knew who Terry Funk, you know, is and was. I just want to say, in terms of my favorite moment with Terry Funk, I had heard about, I watched him in ECW, and I think just as growing up, I just researched wrestling stuff, and I just realized, I'm like, okay, this guy was a big deal, or like, he's really well known in the industry. When he came out as Chainsaw, so, you know, older people would probably roll their eyes at this. It's like, how could you say that? But this is what I saw when I was a kid. When I saw him come out as Chainsaw Charlie, and, you know, with Cactus Jack, around like in 1998, like, I thought that was cool, and that, for me, like, I thought that was really, you know, that was really cool, and that always makes a smile on my face when I think about Terry Funk, and obviously you know, with him with the ladder, beating people up and everything like that. So, you know, rest in peace to Terry Funk, and sincere condolences to his family and everything like that. So.
It can go what I've been saying, like the fact that he had that long of a career and able to go from being, you know, one of the top guys in like the 70s, 80s, and then totally go into hardcore later on in his life. That's insane. Like 60 years old, you know, taking these wild bumps from, you know, all the most wild wrestlers, and that was
him and Mae Young.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? And just seeing, and I'm like, this man's about to die. Every time I saw him in the ring, I'm like, how's this old ass man in here
killing it? He's killing it.
Barbed wire to the face.
Yup.
I was like, this man is crazy. And
that's the thing. That's the thing about Terry Funk. I remember I was a kid, and I remember like on Saturday nights on the TV watching Channel 48 on my TV in my room while my mom was at work. I'll be like, who is this old ass dude wrestling in ECW? Like that's when I knew who Terry Funk was. When I was watching ECW on Channel 48 on Saturday night, and I'm like, yo, this dude is old. And I'm like,
crazy.
They made this man a champion. I remember he beat the franchise for the damn title. I'm like, what
right.
the hell?
Right.
And I'm like, yo, this
nice
dude
mask. Yup.
is crazy. And I'm like, yo, it's insane. But that's the one thing about Terry Funk. I'm like, yo, this dude, I didn't even know about his history. Then when I saw him in WWE, I was like, yo, like Chainsaw Charlie, I said, I know him under them pantyhose. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on now. Like, I know who you
the
are.
candy stripes. The candy stripes.
Exactly. It's like,
wow.
that's the PG version of him. Because I saw him do some crazy shit. Like,
Yeah.
literally. So
yeah,
I
for
was
sure.
just like, yo, I major respect to Terry Funk, man. Rest in peace, man. He's like between him and Mick Foley, man, you can only say there's only a few old heads that will do that. Like, period.
Yep.
Only a few.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Plus, you have anything to add in regards to Terry Funk?
Yeah, I mean, look, Terry Funk, I first heard about, I don't know if you guys, I mean, did you guys let's talk magazines for a second. Did you guys have a subscription or buy
Absolutely.
WWF magazine?
Yes.
I had it for a while, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had the subscription as a kid. I got the subscription for my birthday one year, and then every year the like re-up thing would come in the mail around my birthday. So I
That's
got
awesome.
to be like, well, what's up? So I got re-upped a couple years. I had it for a couple years. But then also I would go to the corner store and I would look in their magazines, and I would be in the music shit, I would be in whatever, but they would also have the more adult wrestling magazines that would have like, it would be like, black and white, like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, but like
Yep.
crazy stuff.
TWI.
And then, in the back of those books would be like, I don't know if you guys remember, but it would be like there'd be titties because there'd be crazy shit. Like it would get a little nutty.
They were more adult. Yeah, for sure.
The Wild West.
Remember Francine on the covers? I remember. That's all of that.
Oh
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Beulah McGillicuddy, all that stuff.
Yeah, Beulah. Oh, shout out to Beulah.
Yeah.
Everyone else, of course, man. Yep.
But that's where I got first exposed to Terry Funk and any of that ECW stuff. ECW didn't really make it to Detroit. So we didn't really see that. But then I do remember, like you, watching Chainsaw Charlie cut himself out of that box. And I remember being creeped out because Texas Chainsaw Massacre actually used to like scare me as a kid. So when I first saw that, I had no idea that was Terry Funk. I was just like, oh my God, what is going on? And then you find out that it's Terry Funk and whatever. So that's that's how I got introduced to Terry Funk, hardcore legend, and shout out Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. Rest in peace to Terry Funk and rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. Awful week in pro wrestling, but their legacies will obviously, move on. So moving on to a very recent event. I just have a question, and be honest, everybody. Did everyone see All-In or catch up with what happened at All-In?
Yes. I
through AEW.
Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
Got the whole feel. Okay, cool. So what is everyone's thoughts on the event? Colton, you start off.
I thought it was all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest.
Damn.
Like,
all right.
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
All right.
It's because look, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I still think, let's just, for example, like SummerSlam with the British Bulldog over there in England versus Bret Hart. The winner of that match obviously was the British Bulldog, but I thought that had a bigger crowd reaction than Paige winning the title, or like even like the MJF like match with Yeah, I thought that
Oh
pop
boy.
didn't even compare. No, it's one of them things where like I thought it was okay, but I'm just like I know for a fact that if there's a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or a Royal Rumble over there, it would
Oh
kill
well.
the whole thing instantly like this. So it's like I'm not trying to compare. It was okay. Like the matches were great, like from what I saw, but it's nothing that like wowed the crap out of me. Like I'm just gonna be honest. Like it's just something that I saw. Like AEW to me is always like that type of organization that's they're gonna wrestle clean, but the storylines are just like blah. Like I already knew Paige was gonna win just because that's her hometown. That's what she always said. That's what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like how many times did WWE came in and whoever's in their hometown that got killed? Like
Right.
JR got burnt like in his hometown with barbecue.
Man,
Like,
that's going back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. It's like it was to me. It was like kind of predictable. Like I knew MJF was gonna win. I knew they were gonna win the tag team titles. I knew it was gonna be tag team champion versus each other for the title. Like I knew it. Like I
didn't think he was gonna. You didn't think Cole was gonna. That ending to MJF and Cole. You thought you were not surprised at what happened with that.
No.
I'm just okay.
No, I wasn't.
All right.
I wasn't. I knew Punk was gonna keep the title because he's a bitch. Like I'm just being honest.
He's such a bitch. By the way, hold up. I couldn't agree with you more. All In breaking the 1992 SummerSlam record or whatever is like when Iggy Azalea broke the Beatles record for having the #1 and #2 record of all time. Get out of here.
Like no one's gonna. I know that's a great point. Like that's
it's a
different
point, like, measurement.
Context.
It's a different ball game nowadays. It's not apples to apples. Get the fuck out of here.
If they would have did anything that would have surprised me, then I would have been like, okay. But I mean, they did nothing that was unpredictable. I mean, what was unpredictable? Tell me what was unpredictable with all.
I've seen a lot of highlights. Jay, you tell me, is there anything that somewhat resembles Bulldog rolling up Brett?
Anything?
No, and I think
kangaroo kick, guys. MJF and the kangaroo kick.
I don't get it. So I try to watch come in with open eye, and for me it's still sort of new because I feel like a lot of people, they've been watching for years, and I'm kind of like catching up still in my mind. And like why like the kangaroo kick? Like I know there's been like corny as like shit like even in WWE, and I get it, but I was like that
kangaroo
in the main event. You know what I mean? Like in the main event. I just feel like the pageantry was trash. Like when I want to, if it's 90,000 people or how many people with 81 or whatever it was people down, I need pageantry. Like I need it to be like what they do for WrestleMania. Like if that was their WrestleMania, I'm just like, and Carlton, you brought up like storylines. Like can we get back to what the root of wrestling is? Like storylines, and can it just not be spot fest? Like I love a good spot, but like after you do so many spots in a match where they literally, as soon as the bell rings, they're doing a spot. It's just like it oversaturates for me. I'm just like, it doesn't have no build up. There's no story within the match. There's no story leading up to the match. And I just feel like I was like, I don't get it. Like
what about the Cole MJF storyline?
That was trash. Because
it's still going on. It's one of the best.
But like, what is it? They're best friends? Like I don't. Like, that's corny.
And he's done that. MJF
best friends, Jay. Damn it.
Look, I don't even get paid, right? But I would have easily have Cole screw over MJF in the tag title match and then beat the shit out of him in the main event and give him the title.
That would have been cool.
That would have been
actually. I would have liked that. I would have liked that actually.
That would have been way better than them hugging and then all the little sprinkles. You know what? All AEW cared about is the record. That's all they cared about. They just cared about the record, and that's the reason why they are still trash.
Well, did y'all hear what Tony Khan said? He said there's another player in town now, and they did more. They did more than any other WrestleMania ever. He came out today and said that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing.
I guarantee you that Mania.
That goes to what you said, Buster. I know.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same measurement. It's not apples to apples.
Not the same metric.
measurement. The world doesn't work the same way. That's like comparing someone that had the #1 record streaming a Drake song to an Elvis song.
Oh,
It just doesn't impact the world the same way. It's not the same thing.
Buster, we're gonna have to talk about that in another that what you just said in a different platform. But I debate
that's not
about
to discredit.
that all the time about streaming versus physical sales. It's a different era. It's a different metric. We gotta calm down with the takes with that. But that's
when you get humans off their ass to get their fucking parents to drive them in a car to a place to pick money out of their actual physical money out of their pocket to put it down on a counter that they worked hard for and then to hand them plastic. That is a different thing than pressing play.
Pressing a button
on a thing.
10 times.
Let me tell you about hard times. Hard times. When you work 30 years.
All right, to go off of that, like they broke the record, cool, but like you didn't see ESPN pick it up, you didn't see Fox Sports pick it up, you didn't see other media outlets, publications even mention it. It wasn't in none of the rundowns. Nobody even knew. Nobody outside
during the off season.
And they're in the off season. No one even picked it up. No one. When they announced Cena was
coming at AEW tonight.
Look,
it's real shit. I'm like, all right, so y'all hyped that y'all had the biggest crowd ever, but it's like, who the fuck cares? Because the rest of the world don't.
Yeah, I'm not discrediting AEW at all. They got MJF has done some historic promos. He has. Like MJF has been doing great. I'm not trying to discredit AEW at all, but if you're talking about that one event, saying that they eclipsed certain shows, to me, they haven't even eclipsed the Royal Rumble this year. So there's no way they can sit there and say.
And there's a lot of really good. There's a lot of really good talent over there. Like I'm not gonna.
It's great talent.
But like, and also too, like your biggest main event, you had a former WWE headline, Adam Cole. Like
Payback.
Yeah,
they had Michael Cole. Yeah. Shout out Michael Cole.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't that like it wasn't really was it? And even MJF started off in WWE, if I'm not mistaken, was he not?
I think
he was a stooge.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, what are we talking about?
We're talking about MJF right now. I want to park on MJF. So I think we can all I think we can all agree that MJF is a talent, right? We can all, however you want to look at him. He's a talent. He has talent, right? We say it again, Colton.
He's definitely a star. Absolutely.
Yeah. So on our Real TWC account, we like to on Instagram, we like to post a lot of polls, get the pulse on what a lot of our audience feels and whatnot, and had a poll about where everyone feels MJF can be in terms of star level, because I think we can all agree that MJF is probably the biggest. I know he used to be in NXT and stuff like that, but I think all let's just say he's an original, right? Let's just he's when you think MJF, you probably think AEW, right? We can all agree with that. So where do we think the question was, where do we think how far he can go? So there were 4 options that were in the poll, and I'm going to read them right now. The first option was megastar, kind of like Austin, Hogan, Rock. Flair, Cena, however you want to say it, whatever. When you hear megastar, you know what you're talking about. You know who we're talking about. Icon, legend, like a Sting or Jericho, star, a Triple H, Taker, star crossover success, like kind of like well known but like successful in other things, but like not on the level of the other two. So like let's say like the Miz, like a Batista, Jay, you might disagree with this, but I thought like Edge, but like you could argue Edge is higher, like more like legend level. But I'm you smell what I'm cooking here. And then the other option was let's revisit in 5 years to see where MJF's going to be. So the results of the poll, 18% said megastar, 28% said icon/legend, 26% said star/crossover success, and 28% said let's revisit in 8 years. So it was all across the all across the board in regards to MJF's trajectory. So I just want to park and like kind of talk about MJF. He's the AEW champion. like we're talking about a kangaroo kick, but the kangaroo kick is over. He got a kangaroo kick over. You know, that's something. Whether we think it's stupid or not, he got that over. That's
Wait,
kind of
so
ridiculous.
what is the story? Is like was that something he used to do? I don't understand. Like what?
That's a good question. I'm going to make the educated
All
guess.
right, that diffuses this whole shit.
Right.
Right.
I'm like,
The fact that we don't even know what we're talking, like, no, like, again, it goes back to like, yeah, he might have got it over with the crew that buys those shirts. You know what else is over? Matt Cardona in GCW selling out Showboat in Atlantic City.
I was there.
Super over.
I
go to that
awesome.
shit too. It's fire.
That was awesome.
It's fire. It's
when
just
he won,
like,
that was crazy. That was one of the craziest experiences I've ever
great.
seen.
Listen, that's
was crazy.
cool, but I feel like Drew McIntyre probably sells more T-shirts than MJF.
MJF. Okay. Well, Buster, I guess we got your opinion about MJF.
And I love it. Hey, by the way, I love MJF. I'm just thinking that shows you what level AEW is on versus the Monster.
Right. So I'm going to ask the question. Do you think, okay, so we all think, okay, AEW is obviously another tier, a couple tiers down from WWE in terms of notoriety. We all get that. You know, would it, you know, so if MJF were to stay in AEW and not go anywhere else, do you think his ceiling, you know, where do you think he's just going to be like a, you know, is his ceiling like a Sting? And that might sound blasphemous for some people, but like, you know, is that, you know, what are we thinking here? Or you want to wait?
I mean, honestly, man, if you're trying to get icon status, you got to be in WWE, and that's just the way it is. Like,
I was saying towards that. Yeah.
The Disney, like it like headlining WrestleMania, like that's even he wants to do that. He'll admit it. Like he wants.
Yeah.
And my thing with MJF, like he's real as a heel on the mic, he's phenomenal. Like, love him as a heel, and I think his in-ring psychology needs to get better, and like maybe even like his actual work could get better, or like evolve, you know, like because Edge would add new moves, Cena added new moves, Taker added some new stuff, like that's the thing, like I don't even know what's his finisher, like I don't know what, you know what I mean, like what does he do for me to be like, oh, like he's about to turn it on, you know what I mean, like, and that's like the missing half for me, and you could get over in AEW, but I'm like, yo, if he does that shit here, I'm gonna be like boring,
right.
Just be a manager if you're not gonna fucking, you know, evolve as a wrestler. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's early in his career. I don't know, but he does. I think he has the potential to be like, I don't want to say icon, but I mean, he's great on the mic, man. You can't deny it.
Yeah. He's definitely gonna be an all-time heel, if not already. He's definitely into that. I will say that he has a trajectory of being a, like, let's say you. I feel like he's going to be known as like one of the best heels ever. I don't know where that is, but there's a lot of great heels. I'm saying when you think of heel, I think you're going to think of MJF. But the jury's still out.
You said status though, like
right.
I understand. Like to me, I think him and Miz is one of the top two heels in the industry. Period. Because I think Miz is one of the mic too. Like if Miz and MJF was on the mic together, like, I don't know.
I want to see that. I want to see that.
I don't know. I would love to see that, actually.
You know,
I would love to see that.
When you talked about status, I mean, personally, I think MJF is already at a point of status of AEW. Like when you think of WCW, who's the first person you think of? Sting. The first person you think of in WWE, Undertaker. Personally, that's what a lot of people say. Like when you think of AEW, the first person you think of is MJF already. He's not even there yet, and that's the first person you think of. Probably because AEW is not there yet. But Jericho's in AEW, and honestly, I give Cody Rhodes a lot of credit because he left. Because when you think of AEW before Cody left, first person that popped your head was Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
And you know, everybody else. But no, ever since Cody left, first person you think of is MJF. He's done a great job so far in handling it since Cody left. So I give MJF that credit. He's already there. I think he could be in that status of Sting. So I agree with you. And I mean Sting of one company.
Okay.
Like just WCW. I think he can get to the level of Sting for being in one company and holding it and being that iconic person in that
company. Yeah, the franchise, which was his nickname. Yeah.
Like kind of stepped down. But now anytime anybody says, well, what do you think about Jericho? minus Fozzy, of course, everybody thinks of Raw as Jericho. Like
Y2J, yep.
Yeah, Y2J. They don't think of the Jericho now, of the Jericho Society. So it's like MJF already put himself in that position already, and he didn't even.
Which is amazing.
He didn't reach his potential yet. So that's why I said I think he's already a star, but I think he'll reach that iconic in one company.
Okay.
But Cody was his mentor, so that makes sense.
He can transcend. Now, if he goes to WWE, like him and Miz on the mic, and they just have like an iconic back and forth like Daniel Bryan and Miz at the time, then yeah, I think it'll be, of course, I think he has the potential, but I think the highest he can go is just in AEW. I don't think he could do that in WWE, personally.
Okay, fair enough. Anyone else have anything else to say in regards to that? I think you really, put a period onto that. I think we're, all in agreement in regards to that. We already, I think, Buster, you really pretty much kind of wrapped up one of the other questions I was going to have, which was the paid attendance record. We, talking about different eras, and that was beautiful. I thought that was a beautiful point. We have to, I think us as a society, especially with social media, we are conditioned to get a little hyped up, and you have to think about metrics are different now. And does it, you can't just transpose and it's the same thing for everything. That's not how it works. So that's something we have to definitely keep in mind.
That's something that I feel like I have to deal with all the time on the radio because, again, I go back to the music side of it. It's like, I'm told that, hey, this K-pop record is breaking the record of this, that, and that. And I'm like, I hear you.
That's cool. I got it. Cool. But...
So it's the same thing. It's like, I hear you, AEW. Yeah, I know. Everything's crazy now. But if you were there then, you would understand how it's not the same, no matter how you look at it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So we talked about AEW. I want to bring it back to WWE. And earlier we were talking about LA Knight versus The Miz. So how does everyone think about how that feud's going? Because I have I have some things to say, but
I love seeing The Miz come out as him. That was hilarious.
Woo-hoo.
But again, The Miz is but that's personally I think it's great because you can see The Miz The Miz, he was The Rock before.
Yep, that was great when he did that then. So I think he fooled me.
That's one of he was gonna do some wild shit like that.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect. And the fact that Rey Mysterio won the US title, I wouldn't be shocked if LA Knight won that title soon. Mm-hmm. Because, I don't think LA Knight, him beating what's his name? Who the hell was the champion before? My brain, I got a brain fart.
Austin Theory,
yeah.
Austin Theory.
Him beating Austin Theory, I don't know if that would have worked. I think he's going to have that title soon. But if you look at The Miz on the mic, and then you look at, LA Knight on the mic, because he's so freaking over right now, he's the perfect person to go against right now. The perfect person, because Miz, he can go to heel and hero, anytime like this. I'm telling you. So it's I like it. I love it.
Well, I'm
sorry, go for it.
No, when he said it, you're just a cosplay of someone from the Attitude Era, and he actually came out in cosplay of him. I thought that was brilliant.
Brilliant.
And if you go back to that first promo from both of them, and how LA Knight said they were on parallel kind of trajectory as far as their careers. It's just that he had a little bit more breaks than LA Knight and blah blah blah. I thought that was for people that don't know his story. Of LA Knight's story, to kind of fill them in, really cliff notes in. I thought that was really brilliant of that.
Yeah.
And I think because they are similar, and it's not a big pay-per-view. I think it's a good pay-per-view for people to tune in to watch if you weren't gonna watch it in the first place. You look at the cards all right, cool, but I kind of want to see The Miz versus LA Knight, see how that goes. I think it was. I don't think it would have been as cool on the SummerSlam. I think it's better on a pay-per-view for people that really be into that one.
Yeah, for sure. And I forgot to add. Yeah, we're talking about WWE Payback, and yeah, I actually agree. LA Knight versus The Miz is the match that and I'm a Seth Rollins fan. You know, I think the most intriguing match for me is definitely LA Knight versus The Miz, and I just want to say, you know, I think the rise of LA Knight's amazing, but I think so far The Miz, and this is a testament to The Miz. 'Cause I think Carlton, as you mentioned, The Miz is he's a good talent. The Miz is he'll come at you. He'll come at you on the mic. He'll you know, I know a lot of people think like kind of throw him off as like a comedic heel or whatever, but when he gets serious, he's good. He's really good. He can hang with anybody, actually.
I feel like Miz. I feel like a lot of people are really underrate the talent that Miz really is. Mm-hmm. Like on the mic and in the ring, I feel like he's so underrated. Like him and Dolph Ziggler are probably my top two, where people just do not understand the talent that they are. You know, and Miz on the mic, honestly, Miz has even, you put him in any type of position. It could be against The Rock, it could be against Edge, it could be against Cena. Like him on the mic, doesn't matter. When he comes out, you know he's gonna say something. You know, when his hand goes up, everybody needs a shot. Like that's what he says.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm telling you, like Miz he's been doing it, and he's been doing it for over 10 years. Like
he's established himself for sure. And you mentioned it. That spar with Daniel Bryan, with Bryan Danielson, is, you know, now looking back on it, that's, you know, it's kind of, is it iconic? It's pretty notable. It was pretty insane when it happened. That was some real shit.
Got some relevance to the IC title, you know.
Yeah, that was crazy. So with
and
that
by
said,
the way, I'll take a The Miz 10 times out of 10 over a Daniel Bryanson. I don't give a shit. I think that to me that whether he's Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryanson, I don't give a shit about any of it. I think that for me, I'm going charisma. I'm going pageantry. It goes back to our Bray Wyatt conversation.
Right.
Do I remember Bray Wyatt's best match? No. Do I remember Bray Wyatt? Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, I can see those sentiments. I want to say I think The Miz has kind of gotten. I think he's kind of ahead of in this feud. I think The Miz is kind of sunning a little bit LA Knight so far.
Oh yeah.
LA, I think you know, I've had some other colleagues disagree with me about it, but I actually think that LA Knight has I think he's got some catching up to do in this.
Absolutely.
And that's not a diss to LA Knight. I think it's good for him, actually.
LA Knight's he's supposed to be like, Miz is the vet right now. Miz is the one that's carrying the feud, and that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do right now. And
right.
He may be putting LA Knight over, but this is what builds the storyline, which is what I talked about earlier with AEW. They don't know how to build anything. Mm-hmm. Like Miz, he established himself. You see how this is even built up. Honestly, this match is probably going to be better than anything you saw in AEW. I'm just going to be honest.
Better than Cole versus MJF for the title. You're saying that right now. You wouldn't be shocked at all. Okay.
Come on. I guarantee you that may be the match of the night at Payback.
Okay. Considering the story, okay. All right.
I mean, if you look at all the card, like that's probably the strongest storyline.
I think, you know, it's funny you mentioned that, Jay. I think that right now we're talking about LA Knight versus The Miz. I think the second. Wow, yeah, I think it is the best storyline by far, actually.
Maybe Raquel, Rhea.
I was gonna say Rhea versus Raquel. I want to see that. That's probably second best.
I want to finally see Rhea Ripley wrestle. Like
yeah.
Once. So that'll be cool to see her actually wrestle again. You know, in a live premium live event. But for me, the most intriguing is those two. And as we're filming this, or recording this, SmackDown hasn't even happened yet. So who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly. Right. More still to happen with a lot of wrestling content these days, people, like every day. So we're doing our absolute best to keep up to date with everything. That's definitely for sure. I think that it was said earlier. Buster, you mentioned, shout out to LA Knight. I think, everyone saw we last couple episodes we talked about the rise of LA Knight, but I think I want to continue to talk about it because he is the story of WWE right now. I think his story is incredible. I think people who are questioning him, I think they need to think a little harder. I think someone tried to come at his age or something like that. I want to tell people right now, to those who may not know who see this. Huh? Say it again.
I was like, who's that person? Vince McMahon? Like,
I know, right? I don't know, but I think Diamond Dallas Page, one of the GOATs, the original People's Champ, by the way, and I'm a Rock fan, but Diamond Dallas Page was the original People's Champ in WCW.
By the way, shout out to DDP's music. He had great music.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah, definitely. For a second, I was like, what? Wait, what? He was a rock band? But no, you mean like his actual like theme music? I got you.
Yeah.
Spirit, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Self high five, but no. He gave props to LA Knight, and because people were, I think he quoted someone talking about like how like he's like in his 40s or something like that. DDP is one of the biggest wrestlers ever in WCW. He was popular as all hell. He was having amazing matches with Randy Savage. He was, by far one of the most over non-NWO people in the company by far. Like everybody was doing this. Before Jay-Z. I just want before this. It was like that. Everyone knew that. Before RKO, it was the Diamond Cutter, right? DDP didn't hit his peak in wrestling until he was 42 years old.
Correct.
Didn't hit his peak until he was 42, 43 years old. Didn't win the title until I think he was 43 years old.
Yeah.
So that, I bet a lot of people do not know that. DDP, like in wrestling, it's kind of different. A lot of people don't even hit their ring prime until their late 30s, early 40s, because it takes a lot to even mid 40s because it takes a lot of time to really understand the intricacies of the business, ring psychology, controlling the crowd, going through all the ebbs and flows, everything. So I just want to mention that. So seeing LA Knight and I mentioned this before, actually even Cody Rhodes and how he's evolved, which still blows my mind. But anyway, seeing LA Knight rise like he is and really getting it it's inspiring, and I'm here for it. And I think it's going to be a great match, and I hope Jay, Buster, Colton, I hope it is the match of the night, because I'm rooting for it, and I hope that I hope WWE, we'll see, because as Buster, you said, there's a lot of decisions that sometimes is complicated. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with LA Knight. Is he going to have a big U.S. title run, and that's what he's going to have for like a year, or are they going to shotgun him into one of the main events of WrestleMania next year and strike while the iron's hot? Who knows? I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm here for it, and I want to watch. And I think that's a big thing.
Going back to that promo when Miz said these fans are fickle, you'll be hot for 5 months and then they'll forget about you. That's real shit. Mm-hmm. And I think with LA being in the industry and working with different promotions, I think it's one of those things that'll stick even if he doesn't have like title runs or whatever. Like I think he just has that, and I think that the fans of WWE, I feel like they really get behind the journeyman, especially the ones you see and you've heard for years, and like, why is this guy not here yet? Like he needs to be here. Why is he a manager? Like he should be so I think that having that, and when it's gonna be up to Triple H to really have the timing of whenever he has those runs or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they have planned for him, it's gotta be timing, because it's gotta be something that's gonna be a long run as opposed to just like a burnout.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone else have anything to add about LA Knight versus The Miz?
No, but he's gonna take Roman Reigns' title.
You think that LA Knight's gonna take Roman Reigns' title? Not Cody.
Before Cody?
Before Cody Rhodes. You think Buster, you were saying right now on Crew Talk that LA Knight is going to take Roman Reigns' title
at WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 40 in Philly?
No, not necessarily. Okay. The Philadelphia thing, I still feel like is going to be a Rock thing.
So do I.
Whoa! I've given up on the Rock, and I'm a Rock guy. I have a Rock photo right back here.
I agree, Buster.
Giving up on the Rock? Are you
insane? No. In terms of he's not. They've been trying to get him for the past. They've been talking about this for the past.
They haven't. No, stop. They haven't been trying to get him. God, I would love for Paul Heyman to just tear you up right now. WWE has not been trying to get anybody. Triple H,
they've been working everybody.
Vince, fine, and everybody else involved have been working with The Rock, I'm sure, for the last few years on developing what the comeback plan and him eventually evolving into the Hall of Fame looks like. That is a plan all day. There is no, are you coming back for payback conversation.
Right.
And so that's the play
We'll
there.
see, y'all.
So I think so that's to the side. LA Knight's taking that fucking belt off Roman Reigns.
When? When is he going to take it off Reigns?
I don't know. Or
It's not going to be on Raw.
Or maybe LA Knight takes it off The Rock. Either way, LA Knight's in that picture. LA Knight is a future Hall of Famer. LA Knight's bigger than the guy on your fucking shirt.
You don't think LA Knight would take it off of Cody once Cody finishes the story?
I don't think Cody should ever get it.
Damn.
Whoa! And also, hold up. That before we go on with the Cody thing, the Cody take, what you just said about Seth freaking Rollins, hey, Seth Rollins is the man, okay? I know he has that world title. He has that world title and everything like that. I know that's secondary to Roman's title. I get it. Seth Rollins is going to make me question the performers Mount Rushmore because he's that damn good, you know? I will say.
Hold on. Never once did I put Seth Rollins' legacy in jeopardy. Seth Rollins is amazing.
I thought you were talking about his shirt.
I did. That's how big LA Knight will be.
Wow.
You're saying that's how big he's going to be. He should be a champion. Okay, I feel you. I like LA Knight. I want to see him with the title. I don't think Seth Rollins needs to have a title. I will agree there. Seth Rollins is not.
And to Jay's point,
yeah.
To Jay's point, LA Knight will get to a point where he doesn't need the title, but he will get the fucking title and he will have a great run with it. And then whoever knows, whatever. He's not going to be one that's going to hold on to it forever like Roman did. This Roman run is something we'll never see in our lifetime.
We're not going to see this again in a long time.
We'll see it when we're old, telling our grandkids, being like, you don't know shit. And now,
even though Roman
I was in line to buy CDs. I didn't press a button.
Colin, what were you saying, man?
No, I said even though Roman should have lost it to Jay, in my opinion.
You should have lost it to Jay back in SummerSlam. I got you. You could argue you should have lost it a couple times, but whatever. They want to. They want Roman to. I get it.
I think Roman loses it before WrestleMania, and I think Roman has a match with The Rock.
Yeah.
I said that. I thought that was going to happen this year, but I still think that's going to happen though.
I think Roman could lose it at Mania. I mean, not Mania. I think Roman can lose it at Rumble.
Yeah.
They could do that.
And that'll start the WrestleMania season.
It is true. They really just need a month. To be fair, like I was watching some stuff, and when Hogan came back to face The Rock, it was like a month. Like really, it really doesn't need all that much. You know what it is if that happens.
Well,
and then he just faces stares down Roman. I'm the true head of the table, and that's the match is set. Like
Remember,
that's
Damien
really all you gotta do.
He has that briefcase. Don't be shocked.
What do y'all think about Judgment Day? Since you mentioned Damian Priest, what do you think about the whole Judgment Day storyline and their matches at Payback and what's been the whole dispute between him and Finn Balor?
Ripley is the leader.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you have Ripley versus China, I swear to God, because you look at both factions, they remind me of DX, but Bray and Ripley runs the show, man. Like I'm telling you, of them, there is no leader. She's the leader.
So I'm glad you mentioned Damian Priest with the briefcase, because I remember in the promo he mentioned he's like, I could cash it in on blah blah blah, I could cash it on Seth, I could cash it on Roman. He's like, that looked really good. I thought that was very subtle that he said that.
Yeah.
And this was, I think I told you this. I was like, I think it'd be cool if Judgment Day had the NXT, the North American title, the women's title, have someone on SmackDown, and then have someone on Raw with the title.
Would be crazy dominance.
Then Judgment Day we were running shit, and that
hasn't happened yet.
That's always been their story, was like, oh, we run Raw, right? So then it's like, oh, we run NXT. So what if we run SmackDown? You know what I mean? Like
that hasn't happened yet.
Maybe that happens at Rumble and at Royal Rumble. Damian Priest becomes a champ. That sets up for The Rock to come back on WrestleMania. Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania, and they don't need a chip. They should just hire me, yo. In the
Mic drop.
contract. In the contract. I'll watch that.
No, I think that I like what's been going on with the Judgment Day storyline. Actually, I think it's funny whenever Dominic tries to speak, he gets that Vicky Guerrero heel heat.
Oh, he gets good, yeah.
That's another big heel in the industry.
I think Rhea has been killing it. I think her match against Raquel is has just as good as any other match to steal the show. I think in terms of Judgment Day, I wouldn't be shocked actually if Finn Balor and Damian Priest become tag champions and beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they have almost everything. That's a good point. It could definitely head towards that way.
Yeah, and their team means nothing right now. That Kevin Owens.
I know they lost a lot of momentum.
They lost so much momentum.
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah,
right.
Hey, I got a question. By the way, to answer your question, I love the Judgment Day. I think it's a cool deal. And I also like when you talk about them being like an homage to like a DX era. They are, because 1997 gang wars and that faction shit was riding high, and I loved it.
Yep.
It added a clout to like Savio Vega with Los Boricuas.
Yeah, going back. Yes. Love that era. Nation of Domination, all that.
Fuck yeah. I love that stuff.
Nation. Loud factions, good point. DX.
Yeah. DX and all that. And so like, and I said this like a decade ago when we were dealing with PG era. I remember being like, man, they just need to click a couple of these guys up so they can have their own little deal going on. And that's what they're doing, and it's great. I think Judgment Day has a whole new thing going on, and I think with Dom being at the forefront, you've got like so many ways to take this, and talk about a guy that, first off, during the pandemic era, you couldn't get him off my screen fast enough. I was like, I can't fucking look at this kid. Right. And then now you're like, oh, I fucking hate him. I love it. Give me that.
Put him on more. I can't stand him. Yeah.
Oh, Dirty Dom.
Dirty Dom.
So, man. That's what's going on. I feel like Judgment Day's got a whole thing going on. And the whole faction deal in general adds a lot of juice.
I don't know how I feel about JD. That guy. JD.
Oh, yeah. They're trying to implement him. Yeah, I know.
I feel like I don't know. I know that's like forced. That's like Tripp's guy, NXT guy.
Yeah. We just need you to like this guy, everybody. I know what you mean. It kind of comes across like, yeah, come on, like this guy. This guy has to be implemented. Yeah.
It's like Edge is to Judgment Day what Ted DiBiase was to NWO. It was like remember they had him on early, but then they were like,
nah.
Or Rick Rude and DX. Like,
yep.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. I forgot about that.
And then old boy from NXT, whatever his name is, who's trying to be in the clique, is like Buff Bagwell. You're like, yeah, all right. Or like when I think Test was in DX for a second or something like that.
A lot of people were in DX for a second, so that should very well be true. Yeah.
So Buster, so let me ask you this. So you're a big Judgment Day fan. So do you think that if Edge would have stayed instead of Finn Balor, it wouldn't be where it is today?
I don't know. That's hard to say. I again, I go back to like, that little even small Rick Rude comparison. I think everything you're dealing with, whenever you're dealing with it, is a presentation of what brought it to you. So like, that little Edge portion, I think the fact that you harbor that knowledge sort of makes it a different like vibe, and makes it to where you're like, yeah, but Finn kind of fucked over somebody to get in here. So that kind of really makes Finn different in my eyes, even though like 2 years ago it was Finn's for everybody parade, but like, who Finn is now because of that. And then Damien and Dom now, and old girl, Rhea. It's like that's where I think all those pieces. I think if Edge would have held it, we wouldn't feel. It's been a long time since the Edge and Lita porn scene.
Right.
So
Live sex on
nobody.
Raw.
Yeah, and since then, Edge has been the can't believe I'm back, thank God, my neck, and all that bullshit. So why would I carry that heat with Edge? I wouldn't. So Judgment Day would have never really got off the ground, in my opinion, if they wouldn't have done what they did.
Now,
Yeah, the only reason why I asked was because I thought, and JB, we talked about this.
yeah,
That Edge, when he basically like only a few wrestlers can recreate themselves, like just like Jericho can, and there's a few others. I thought when Edge recreated himself and character, he cut his hair and all this other stuff, changed the music.
I loved it.
And I thought he was just on this whole new recreation of him, and they just like said, "No, you're dead." And
Cody got hurt.
Nah, dude.
Cody got hurt. In my opinion, because Cody got hurt.
Fuck that. That doesn't have any. No, it's bigger than Cody.
Oh, I think
bigger
it's
than
something.
Cody.
I think Cody. I think it's a part of it. I think it's a part of it.
Edge had something different with everybody when he went from being the brood guy to the let me get after him, let me rah guy to the real rated R superstar banging Lita offside Matt Hardy and ruining their marriage. That was when Edge had everybody flipped. By the time Edge got to us in Judgment Day era is 20 years after that shit. So by the time he got to us, he had already been like Hall of Fame, like babyface. Like, sure, I hear you. You're a heel now, but I don't know. You're my childhood, so you're Edge.
No, I agree, and I feel like it was. I think the thing we're not talking about is how important Finn Balor is within a faction. Like if you take it back to the Bullet Club
era,
like kind of be that person, because I feel like, I mean, since he tore his pec, he was kind of just jobbing, right? Like he was just kind of wandering in the wilderness and trying to bring him out, and he had the feud with the Fiend, and it just wasn't working. And then
that's why I wanted him to beat Seth. I thought it was perfect.
Right, me too. And then so him going back to NXT as the Prince, kind of reinventing himself, kind of getting some more mojo, and him coming into Judgment Day. And you also, like, even for me, like Damian Priest, when he was solo, when he came up to the main roster, I was kind of just like, I don't know how I feel about him. He's great in ring, but I don't know. But like having all these pieces together, and then Dom breaking off from his dad, which is a natural storyline, what was gonna happen. But like how it happened, like it's silly, but it's funny, but it's good. And he's like eating it up and just kind of going with it. And then you have Rhea, who's just fucking dope. Like I think Edge not being in Judgment Day, I don't think they would have been. I don't think they would have. They have the best merch. Like their graphics are dope. Like their music is great. Like their color, like they just look cool as shit. Like across the board.
Cool as fuck.
Like
I will say, I think I will formally give the Judgment Day an apology in the sense where I actually and Carlton knows this. I thought that especially with how quick the turn happened against Edge, I actually liked the reinvention of Edge, and I thought that I was like, oh man, I'm not sure this is gonna work, but they've proven me wrong. In fact, that was like an opportunity. It's an opportunity. They took the opportunity. They took the ball and they ran with that. They made it probably arguably better than ever, actually. And it's impressive to see.
Yeah. Like Finn Balor could wrestle. Like Dom being with a nice. They're not like older, but they're not young. Nice, like with the rest of them. And Damian Priest, he's just a beast. And like they just
great transformation too.
Yeah, like Rhea Ripley is like arguably the best out of the women's division, so it all makes sense. It just makes sense. You're like, yeah, if there was gonna be a faction, it would be those four.
Yeah, definitely. And I wouldn't mind. I think they've been carrying Raw pretty well. It's definitely the Judgment Day show on Raw, actually. And yeah, I'm definitely like, I'm not bored of them, and I'm excited to see where they go. And I just want to say one thing about Finn. Jay, you kind of mentioned it. It's crazy to see. This is a good was it redemption for Finn Balor with the Judgment Day, because I think people forget, like, he was chosen. He when he won he was the first undisputed championship winner of the era in 2016. He beat Roman clean. People forget about that. He beat Roman Reigns, who was completely forced, skyrocketed, like absolutely put on like a jet on his back, skyrocketed, like forced on everybody by Vince. Like he beat that guy clean on Raw to get a title match against Seth Rollins in 2016, and then he won that match. And that injury to his shoulder, right? Was his pec or his shoulder? This area right here. Everything, right?
Yeah.
Like that completely derailed him, and I love the fact that they brought that up because it's true. It was real. Like he was supposed to be right up there with everybody. That he really was, and him in this faction, is definitely giving him a new arc and a positive arc in his in his WWE career. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen with him and Damian. They have a lot of story to build there. Well, I'm looking at more matches with Payback. Just a short pay-per-view. Does anyone? I wanted to mention this to everybody. Does anyone care about Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus at all?
No, I thought we closed that, John.
Right. Okay. So that's that. All right. So we're gonna.
Stratus still looks great.
Anytime they can put Trish on screen, that's great. But
it still looks great. I mean.
Right? Like
I love her as a heel. I love Trish as a heel. Like she's funny.
She's killing it. She's killing it. Yeah.
But I think they overran that, John.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. We don't have to spend much time on that, right? So I was like, I don't really, whatever.
Actually ended at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, I think Becky just needs like a reinvention, man. I think like
I agree.
Her Lady Gaga David Bowie shit is just like your husband's already doing that. We don't need it twice unless you guys are gonna be a thing. So then that's cool. Give us that as a thing. Give us the power couple. Give us the couple that. Give us the 2-man power trip that give us the click that, hey, you can't get past Seth Rollins and, but they're different.
Becky,
they're different vibes. They're different. They're trying to play different characters but we all know the gimmick. So, and we like Seth Rollins. We love Becky Lynch too, but no one's really in on this. And the Trish Stratus shit, no one's really hating her, so I don't know if we're ready.
I know it's hard to hate her. It's true.
Plus, she's still bad, So
yeah.
What do you want me to do? Sure. Like, I don't know what I'm clapping for, but she's still bad, and I fuck with David Bowie chick.
For sure.
I agree. Something needs to. There needs to be a seismic shift with her right now.
Put them up. Team them up.
I heard some rumors of Becky. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did I see some possible rumors that Becky might retire eventually, like in the next year or something like that? I don't know if that's. I hope that's not the case, but is it that surprising? I mean, Buster, you kind of hit on it. Like she main evented WrestleMania. But what's up, Carlton?
It would be because of her kid. So
kids, right? Yeah.
She'll be home more like a Beth Phoenix. Like she would come back periodically.
Right.
But
Bella, any of that shit. Yeah, we'll see you once in a while. I think, and by the way, I'm okay with that. You're not showing me anything new. We watched her and Sasha Banks beat the shit out of each other with bamboo sticks. Like, great. That was amazing.
WrestleMania main event.
Yeah, that was probably peak Becky Lynch. So, and I loved it, and I think she's great. But I go back to her versus Trish. I don't know what I'm hating and what I'm cheering. I fuck with both of it. I don't.
Yeah.
I fuck with both of them. I don't care about neither of them. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't want to bring back the piss break, term, but we obviously love them as performers and everything like that. But I think for this match, I think it should have ended in Jay, you kind of said it should have, the whole arc should have ended in SummerSlam and just kind of maybe she needs to. Maybe Becky needs to kind of, maybe take a break. But we support Becky Lynch and want to see her succeed. But in this case, There's another match, Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory. Does anyone care about that? He's the U.S. champion, and
it's a rematch. It's a rematch, yeah.
Yeah, it's a rematch. Right?
Well, again, Austin Theory may win it back. If not, Bray will have it. I mean, he's going to eventually lose it anyway, so it wouldn't be shocking if you see.
But why lose it to Ray why lose it to him just to get it back from him? Like,
it happened. Like Bret Hart won the title for a day. I remember he won it
1997 against Sid.
yeah.
Yep.
He won it against Sid, and then the next day he lost it against Taker. Or was it?
Right.
No, I'm sorry. He won it at
Fatal
Fatal 4-Way.
Oh.
Lost it the next night against Sid. Sid took on Taker 2 months later, or less than a month later, and lost it to Taker.
Right. Okay.
Something like that. Give us some credit.
But that was also Vince booking too.
25 years ago. That was impressive that we all kind of even knew.
Well, to answer your question, I mean, I'm just like, I don't know, like, what's gonna happen after that. I think hopefully it'll lead to something. Like Austin Theory is kind of in a weird place too. Even though he's, maybe they're gonna develop something between Rey Mysterio and the LWO and maybe create some beef. I don't know. I'm just like,
yeah, that's it. I just hope it's a good match at this point, but I'm not really, jazzed for it. I think it just goes back to what we were saying. It really is LA Knight versus The Miz. But I do want to mention Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke. I actually haven't been that into that feud. Like Shinsuke, hitting him, hitting him behind his back and like all that stuff like that, and two-timing him and everything like that. All right, it just seems like a filler feud again, but I hope they have a good match and what's up? Go for it, man.
Well, I feel like, I mean, and I'm gonna try to bring it back full circle. I think that turn with Shinsuke had something to do with Karrion Kross. So I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what it is about him that he keeps getting these matches and those promos that he had. I took this away from Drew. I took this away from Seth. Oh, I'm sorry, AJ. I took this away from Shinsuke, his honor or whatever. I'm hoping that they're building like a long-term story for Karrion to get to that point of whatever they want him to be, because they seem to keep putting him in these feuds with like really great like superstars. But like for me, when I see him, I'm just like, I don't.
Man, I hope that's true, Jay.
And I hope it's the long term, because I mean, he mentioned that, and they had a whole vignette about, I took this away from Drew McIntyre. Now he's this. I took this, blah, 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 blah. And I remember the last thing was Shinsuke, and he had the feud with Shinsuke, even though he lost, but he said he took his honor, and then he ended up, hitting Seth behind the back, whatever, and starting that feud. Maybe that's something he's going to come full circle within maybe Survivor Series, right? But something needs to happen with him, because they spent a lot of time on him since he kind of came back, since they brought him back. And the only thing I'm really like hype for is to see Scarlett's sexy ass like on the screen. But other than that, like I'm just like, like Karrion Kross, like who cares? Like it's his hair. It's his hair. He needs to like go bald.
He needs to go back to being bald.
Because it doesn't make sense to me. Like his whole thing doesn't make sense to me.
It's with what you're saying, Jay. It's interesting because in NXT, that man was pushed. I remember watching one of his first match. I guess a match on NXT, and like when he came out in that entrance, I was like, my God, this man's a monster. Like this guy can't be beaten. Like that's like what was being shown, right? That entrance was crazy. And then he got neutered by Vince immediately when he came on the main roster. Completely destroyed him. Say it again. Yeah, with the BDSM stuff, whatever the heck was going on, that freaky stuff. I don't know what he was wearing. It was like, what's going on? So, I guess there's a lot of and then Triple H, right? You can tell immediately when Triple H took over, he brought Karrion Kross right back. But I agree, he needs to shave the hair, and get back to that dominance. He's kind of like floundering around right now. So
and I only brought him back just to like kind of go with the whole Shinsuke.
Yeah, with Shinsuke. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's a filler. It's definitely a filler, and maybe it was like Seth Rollins like kind of giving him a rub to kind of get him back into like a main event.
Right.
Shinsuke's dope. But it's hard to root against him too. Like you want to sing his song.
Right.
He fucking goes back on the ropes. Like it's hard. Like there's a lot of like anti-heroes type heels that were like, we actually like Shinsuke. We actually like it.
Yeah.
I don't root against them, so I don't know. It's just kind of like, meh.
Well, I have a question for everyone about Seth Rollins and his title and his championship. How does everyone feel about the world championship that he has, and who should beat him for it?
I think he's doing a great job with the title. Obviously I mean, JB, we talked about this. The whole crew talked about it. We said, well, who should win the title? And at first, a lot of people said Cody, but I mean, I think Seth Rollins has done a great job at making it relevant. I mean, he took it to NXT. I give him props for that. He took
That's pretty cool.
So he's doing a great job with the title. Who should beat him for it? I think it would depend.
Gunther?
No.
Okay, just throwing it out, throwing names.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Gunther. I mean, I think Cody should be the one to beat Roman. And if he had to get beat for that title, I would probably say either Damian Priest or LA Knight.
Okay, that's fair. Fair enough. Jay Buster.
I just feel like that title is cool, but it's never going to be the title.
Right.
So I think you can keep that as a worker's belt, and you can let Seth Rollins pass that on to a guy from NXT or Gunther or something where it's given them almost the same rub that the Intercontinental gave the guys in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know,
when it was a
like
prestigious title, like prestigious.
Yeah, where it was like, hey man, you're not Hulk Hogan, but goddamn, do we got a gig for you when he's got here?
Yep.
You know, like I think that's the gig there. Back it up a little bit, I think just a little bit more back to that Austin Theory conversation. I see him bag it up with Grayson Waller. I think that could be a little fun.
That could be cool. I like Grayson
you
Waller.
know, yeah, I do too, man.
Yeah, I
got to interview him. I got to interview him a couple weeks ago.
How was that? Philly. That's awesome. How was that?
It was cool. It was cool. He was cool as hell. Him and I talked about like factions and shit that he like. We grabbed someone from Golden Era, someone from Attitude Era, someone from Ruthless Aggression, someone from Now, and built a faction out of it. Of course, he was someone from Now, but then we paired him with Flair and Stunning Steve Austin, and we were like, wait a minute, these people got some good hair. You know, so, that was pretty cool. So yeah, so I say I'd like to see Grayson and Austin do a little like pretty boy dickhead, you know, tag team. I think that could be good. They're both very good on the mic. Karrion Kross, backing up to that. 2 words: Lex Luger.
Damn.
Oh wow.
Wait, go further into that. Go deeper into that, Buster.
I don't give a fuck. Karrion Kross, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, you don't care about him at all. Got it.
None of it. From the jump, from the NXT shit where he was in the BDS. I don't give. Dude, I've never cared, and it gives me the same ick.
Same vibes
that I would get in 1994 when Lex Luger was at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Michigan, and they were trying to Yokozuna, he power slammed him on the Intrepid. And granted, they're not baby facing him. Like they're not Cody Rhodesing him to us. So I guess at least I don't have to deal with that. But even like every stitch of the way, anytime Karrion Kross comes on with the black and white footage, old girl's bad. But like, I don't care.
I'm just like
care.
I don't care.
Yeah. And then all right. So we established that, and then Seth Rollins and his run. Going back to my original thought, he can hand this to anybody he wants because it's never going to be the WWE title, the Universal, whatever the fuck, whatever Roman Reigns hands off
the non-Roman Reigns title. Unfortunately, that's what it is. It's the non-Roman. We need Roman to still be the champion. We need to have another champion. Here you go, Seth Rollins. I get it. That's
it's the secondary title. It's the secondary title.
Kind of like at times, actually, back in the 2000s, if y'all remember, there were times where, it was kind of reversed. There were times Triple H with the big gold belt, that was the main title, and the WWE title was kind of secondary. That actually happened at some points. This is kind of.
But it was because Triple H is the one that kept that prestige. When Eric Bischoff gave him that title at Raw, everybody knew that was. But it looked just like the WCW title. It had It had tradition that came with it, right?
Right. No, I got you. I was just drawing a parallel. That's all.
It's just like, for example, let's just say instead of that world title that they recreated or whatever, they literally brought back this one, the old title. They brought this one back.
That'd be amazing.
Do you
I wish they did
think
that.
Them bringing this title back would have more of an oomph to it, just a little bit?
Oh, of course.
Between Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and everybody else, it's different. When they recreated it, it's just another title. It's just like when they made the blue title. Okay, it's blue. Like literally, it's red and blue.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What's your favorite flavor Slurpee? Blue.
Red or blue? The blue title.
Well, I think a testament to I think Seth Rollins can give it to just drop it to whoever, and I mean I actually really thought that Finn Balor should have won anyway. So it's just getting, when is it cool? Like what it's just, that's the thing. It's whatever. Seth Rollins is like he's gotten to the status where he's so good he can lose the title. No one's gonna think any less of him or anything like that. So
I don't think he'll lose. I mean he'll retain. I think he'll retain. I'll be surprised, whatever, but I think he'll just retain it. I don't know there's really nothing after that,
Yeah.
That's why I give him a lot of credit just for keeping the title as relevant as he has.
Right.
It's not easy.
Well, yeah, I mean that's him coming in week after week, like, putting in the work. That's the working championship title. Like that's the workers' man.
Right. Shout out to the new Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns.
So as we near as we've gone through a lot of topics and everything like that, and this has been great discussion. How's everyone feeling about like where post Payback we're going to be getting into? I think probably going to be getting into Survivor Series period, and then and after that, as we all know, that's when the road to WrestleMania is going to start. So you think they're just trying to this is kind of a period where they're just trying to like chug along the Survivor Series, and then it's kind of like they're always that kind of like lull period after SummerSlam, and then like they have to fill in. You know what I mean?
I mean, when was the last really good SummerSlam? Like when Sting came back? Like I feel like it's. I mean, I'm sorry, Survivor Series. When was like the last
Survivor Series?
Like I feel like when Sting came back, like
in 2014.
Yeah.
2014.
I can't think of anything else after that. Maybe
they've had some good. I think there's been some good matches. I don't know about top to bottom.
Yeah, but
that's
good
matches.
They did have good matches, but it's such a weird event because it's like teams versus. You know what I mean?
I miss the old. Yeah, I miss the old school
got,
Survivor Series.
I was not into that whole run where like Survivor Series was Raw versus SmackDown. First off, WWE needs to get it through their head that like none of us actually care about Monday versus Tuesday. We don't care.
No.
That means
the brand splits. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get why they have it, but it's just like certain factions versus certain factions. Okay, like Judgment Day versus Imperium or something like that. Like
that would be cool.
By the way,
what I wish they would. What they should have implemented. I wish they would have implemented. So War Games when you got the 2 rings. Now that's Survivor Series. You could have Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series at War Games. Like that'd
be cool. That'd be sweet. I could mess with that.
Faction versus faction.
Or, I like 1997 all over again. Survivor Series Gang Wars too.
Yeah. For sure.
Brett screwed Brett.
Yeah.
You got some people in NXT you can kind of bring up whatever, maybe do something with damage control and like, whatever. Like I don't know.
The new stable with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley and they just talked. I think there was a photo with Carmelo Hayes. So whatever.
Okay, let's go.
Like, bring that into the fold. I think a faction Survivor Series would be dope. That'd be crazy. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Let's go.
Get some juice back into that event. Get some juice back.
Hire me, yo. I need to submit a.
Or what I loved about the 90s, early 90s Survivor Series was when they would just throw like, all right, give me the championship title match at the end. Make that the main event. Fine, great. And then the matches leading up to that, give me some faction matches, faction versus faction. Like you said, Judgment Day versus Imperium would be fire.
Sick. That'd be sick.
But then also give me a match of like random versus random.
Yeah.
You know, that was some of my favorite shit. Or like all of a sudden, like the Rockers would partner with Ultimate Warrior because they both wore neon.
Yeah,
like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Survivor Series was good for all that. So, you know,
or what was the in WrestleMania they had like the 4 tag teams, and that was a great match. It was like Alpha Academy.
X8. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but like have 2 tag teams team up together against 2 other tag teams against.
Yeah.
That would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. You know, I hope as the fall, we know what it is. I think things will begin after Payback, which we just discussed. It's kind of a short card. We know that LA Knight versus The Miz is probably going to be the most intriguing match. And after, they get, hopefully maybe as they get into the fall, I'm sure there's going to be something with the bloodline that comes up. I heard rumors of a fatal 4-way or something like that. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. They're going to do something with Jay and Jimmy. They're going to do something like that with that maybe. Match? I'm sorry, say it again, man.
Who's going to be the first match for Payback?
First match, I'm going to say, I wouldn't be shocked if it's LA Knight versus The Miz, but here's why. Because I think LA Knight, he's so over. I wouldn't be surprised if they use him to pump up the crowd. Sometimes the opening match can be good. In my opinion.
That's why I asked. They usually, it's like you either open or you close, but the opening match sets the tone.
Yeah,
it could be the women's match.
I was thinking maybe Raquel and Rhea.
Yeah. There's been the LA Knight and The Miz and Rhea and Raquel. Those have definitely been like the matches with the most oomph to them by far. But Carlton, let's see it should be interesting with Payback, and obviously tomorrow night on SmackDown. By the time Monday comes around, it should be let's see if LA Knight versus The Miz outdoes even MJF versus Adam Cole, baby, at All-In, because that is quite a proclamation that you said earlier, my friend.
I stand by. You heard me.
I said what I said.
Yeah, what I said.
I like Adam Cole too, man. I wish they didn't have to release him, but I get it.
If I think he would have stayed at Triple H. I think.
Oh, for sure.
He definitely would have stayed at Triple H.
Undisputed would have been a part of Survivor Series, like.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be shocked to see Adam Cole come back if Triple H, at least. I wouldn't be shocked if he comes back.
Yeah, I think
so. Sasha Banks, she needs to come back. She needs to come home, man. It's some bullshit.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's a shame.
That'll happen. That'll 100% happen. First off, they always come home.
Dude, if Bret Hart came back, doesn't matter.
Everybody can come back.
Anyone can come back. That's so never say never. People, I know people saying CM Punk will never come back. I wouldn't be shocked if he came back. Bret Hart came back. If Bret Hart can come back to the WWE, anything can happen. That's all. As soon as I saw
the only two people that I don't ever see coming back to WWE is Jon Moxley and Owen Hart.
Damn. Buster.
Too soon.
Not just because Martha won't let it happen.
Oh, in terms of just a Hall of Fame induction.
Going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. See what you did there. But yeah.
Damn.
I wish that Owen Hart, he needs to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, but I get it. Martha would never do that. I completely understand. So, but with that said, it's been a great discussion. Happy to have y'all kick it with us tonight. Is there anything else that y'all have going on, Jay, Buster? Anything else you want to tell the audience? Tell Real TWC's audience about what y'all are up to or have coming up? Anything else you want to close with?
And also put your social media handles too. Tell them where they can find y'all.
FM Buster, Bex and Buster's the show. All I can say is every Friday at 4:00, our good friends from Wooderice come in and bust us out with the scoop and let us know what's going on in Philadelphia. Other than that, check us out on Q102. That's what's up.
Awesome.
Yeah. At I am Jay the Gentleman across. If you're not in Philly, follow Wooderice.com or Water_ice on Instagram. And I feel like Buster's being like very coy and humble. Like he has like literally the #1 show on the #1
Absolutely.
in Philly. So
Absolutely. Let's do it. Yep.
like and honestly, when we're off air, all we talk about is wrestling, so it's amazing. But yeah, just follow Wooderice. We got a lot of stuff coming up. It's the fall, so there's gonna be sports coming up, fall festivals, all that good stuff. So just stay tuned.
Definitely. And more news is going to be coming up as we're based in Philadelphia. WrestleMania 40 coming to Philadelphia. Every single Crew Talk episode, we're going to mention the fact that WrestleMania is right here in our hometown, in our home base, and it's going to be crazy.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yup. People to all the people coming to Philly and experiencing when it gets here in next April 2024. Those who thought they're ready, y'all ain't ready. Trust me.
I'm calling it right now. We're gonna have a panel with someone from WWE at WrestleMania that week. I'm calling it. Like it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
We'll put it out. So get on the bandwagon now before it's too late.
Yep, stay tuned. Got a lot of things planned. Yep, absolutely.
For sure. Thanks to everybody. Just JB, Real TWC, Carlton, Jay, Buster, everyone signing off. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good one.